currently penciled in as a #2, not a #1 seed. So still a lot to be played for Jordan Reynolds, Ariel Massengale. Tennessee did not shoot the ball well from the perimeter, so you got to keep an eye on Massengale and particularly Andrea Carter in their quarterfinal easy victory over Georgia. Michaela Epps, Jennifer O'Neill had 18 points in their big win and comeback over Mississippi State, but they need some help inside, particularly from Jalea Sidney. Most of he has done, and an interesting story about his seniors went to him late in the season. They went to him and said, Coach Mitchell, we need your heavier hand, and he has delivered that. Tennessee will be the home team on the scoreboard in their white uniforms, and we're underway. The winner to play South Carolina tomorrow.
Kentucky starting out in a man-to-man defense. Tennessee in their 5-out spread offense.
Bishop inside on Graves, and a little bit of a miscue. Burdick went back door, and the pass from Andrea Carter a little bit high and wide.
And Tennessee starting in the 1-2-2 press the same way they started against Georgia yesterday.
And completely dismantled Georgia. Tennessee led that game 32-11 at halftime. So as fatigued as Kentucky might be, but Jen O'Neill showing some fresh legs. She knocks down her first jump shot, but just to finish that point, Tennessee had such a big lead in the game over Georgia. Their starters only played about 20 minutes. Burdick left all alone. That was a three-pointer at the other end by O'Neill off the back of the iron, and Asia Bishop, number 50 in blue, easily taking the rebound.
Jen O'Neill got off to a hot start. Well, she hit her first three 2 days ago and then went cold yesterday. Can she heat back up today?
Ball deflected by Bashara Graves, and then on the second effort, it looked like it went off Asia Bishop. The officials will talk it over, and it will be Tennessee's ball. Right call.
Well, Epps recognizes that the defense shifts back to her when the ball went up top, and then that kept it, got open for Jen O'Neill.
Yeah, good call, no doubt about that, off of Asia Bishop. As we mentioned a moment ago, Jen O'Neill, 19 points against Vanderbilt in their first game. Here comes Epps, drop off to Bishop, who has the ball stripped away. Good defensive recovery as she was defending 2 against 1, Jordan Reynolds. O'Neill 19 against Vanderbilt in their opening game, and then 18 last night against Mississippi State in that comeback. O'Neill trying to split some defenders, but inadvertently tripped, and that foul is going to go against Tennessee's Ariel Massengale.
And Matthew Mitchell said he was going to be aggressive defensively, trapping the ball screens, and that's caused problems for Jordan Reynolds. She turns it over, and Kentucky heads the other direction.
They could have given that foul to either Massengale or Reynolds. They gave it to Jordan Reynolds. Tennessee playing some 2-3 zone. Boy, a couple of dribbles, pull-up jumper off the front of the iron. Rebound taken by Massengale, number 5 in white, and quickly ahead to Carter. Carter tried to force that ball inside to Bashara Graves, and luckily back to Carter, and Tennessee will reset.
See, just the high-low. Sierra Burdick has got to get the ball to Bashara Graves.
Massengale off the front of the iron on the three-point attempt, up, over, and out, and it'll be Kentucky's ball.
Bashara is you've got to give her, there's not really a help side. You've got to get the ball inside. I think that when you go inside for Tennessee, that then develops confidence for shooters to be able to shoot more freely without so much pressure.
Graves coming off a double-double in the quarterfinals against Georgia with 13 points and 11 rebounds, again in limited minutes. Bishop turning inside on Graves, might have gotten away with a travel. There is a travel in the corner for Bria Goss. Both teams turning it over here in the early going of this second semifinal. The winner to play South Carolina. Graves left open. Nice stroke from 18 feet. Well short. And the rebound taken by Kentucky. Goss on the dribble drive all the way to the rim. Lays it up and in.
Kentucky's not showing any sign of fatigue so far, Paul.
They are not. They have been well conditioned during the offseason. We'll have more on that later on. And on the weave, switching on the outside is Epps onto Carter.
See, with Bashard Graves up at the elbow area, she's just out here running a play. It's not an advantage for her to touch the ball there. Get it to her in the paint.
There's a little high-low into the paint. Kicks it out, not close by Carter. And what a rebound and good block out. Epps taking it between two Lady Vols.
The Lady Vol fans, they stand until Tennessee scores their first basket. It's been 4 minutes already.
Well, they turned it over a couple of times and only gotten one look. And that, again, good extra effort by Andrea Carter and off the leg of Bria Goss.
The defensive pressure by Andrea Carter. And again, she led the SEC in all games in steals and did not make the all defensive team. I am just shocked. I know I keep beating a dead horse, but that is just so surprising to me.
There's some life in that horse. It's certainly an argument. 5 turnovers already between these two teams. Sloppy start. Burdick wide open. Nobody has stepped up more, along with Bashara Graves and Ariel Massingale, than Sierra Burdick. Since Isabel Harrison went out, she's averaging nearly a double-double. Underway, second semifinal here in Little Rock, Kentucky, on top 5. Let's go quickly back to the sideline and Carol.
Well, guys, it was pretty calm and focused there in the Lady Vols huddle. Coach Holly Warlick talking about, don't worry about those shots, they're going to fall. And to your point, Carolyn, she looked right at Bashara Graves and said calmly, we need you to work for the ball.
That's a good point. Running an offense and floating her up around the top of the key in the free throw line area, that's not where she does her best work. Her best work is in the painted blue area.
Full court pressure. Epps all looked like she dragged her pivot foot right in front of us, and finally the Tennessee fans can sit down after the Lady Vols have scored. Very early, and Kentucky didn't take much of advantage. They only lead at 5-1. You go 0 for 7, you want to build yourself a little bit of a cushion early on when your opponent is really struggling at the offensive end. Graves down along the baseline. Inside to Carter, up underneath, not there. Ball deflected out of bounds, and Tennessee will have it with a new clock.
I like that offense, the back screen for Bashara Graves, but she's got to catch it and think score, not pass.
Jamie Nard, freshman out of Portland, Oregon, on the floor now inbounding, number 31 in white. Guarded by Alexis Jennings, outstanding freshman out of Alabama. Good entry pass inside to Graves, but instead of going to the rim, kicks it back outside. Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Kentucky's bringing a double team every time Graves does touch it on the block.
Inside to Burdick, turns, faces up, off the back of the iron, rebound taken by Jennings.
We talked about it. Kentucky was going to try to take away the post game and force the Tennessee guards to make perimeter shots.
Good offensive rebound, but a wild putback attempt by Kyvan Gooden-Rogers. And Tennessee will have the basketball. We've played 5 minutes and 25 seconds, and the score is 5-1.
Now, Ariel Massingale is the senior leader on this team. She has got to get this team in an offensive flow.
Renee Harper on the floor, wearing number 15 out of Chicago for Kentucky. Injured her knee yesterday, was very ineffective, but has that bandaged, and we're given a report by Kara Capuano. She is good to go, and she is a very important component for Kentucky and Matthew Mitchell's squad. Averages 12 points, 8 rebounds. Was on the all-defensive team this year in the conference.
63% of Kentucky's scoring come from their guard play. That's Harper, Epps, Goss, and Jen O'Neal.
Bishop wanted in the low post. Excuse me, that's Jennings. Shot clock at 7. Harper into the lane, off the glass, and that's a big plus for Kentucky if she can give the Wildcats 15 or 20 solid minutes. Carter at the other end throws it away.
Tennessee has gone 6.5 minutes in this game without a field goal.
Epps now being guarded by Nard. Epps picking her spots. Gooden Rogers off the back of the iron. Long rebound comes back out to Kentucky with a fresh shot clock.
Right now, Tennessee looks like the team that had to play 2 rounds ago.
Again, the third game in as many days for Kentucky. 3 seconds in the key that time for Kentucky, forcing a turnover.
Well, turning the ball over from the top after Kentucky brings the double team. Ariel Massengale not able to get the 3 ball to fall. Where will Tennessee find their offense?
Massengale, ball tipped away from behind by Epps, who seems to be moving pretty comfortably and is looking to work her way into this game and pick her spots after going for 31 points last night, 11 of 21 shooting, and as I say that, she'll go to the sideline to get her first blow.
So they've got to clear out and give her room, Bashard Graves room to work. Tyven Gooden Rogers playing off Bashard Graves to take away the pass inside.
Reynolds looking at a 3-pointer, and finally, with 12:39 remaining in the first half, Tennessee has their first basket. But look at the game. I mean, Kentucky has been almost as ineffectual. Outside to Goss, that not there. Offensive rebound, just missed time, and that's going to be a holding call. Easy play to call against Jamie Nard.
And Jordan Reynolds, she's a guard that likes to shoot the basketball, and finally she gets the Lady Vols on the scoring board.
I mean, Tennessee is 1 for 8 in this game, and Kentucky only leads it by 3. Massengale looking for the tie. Long rebound comes out to O'Neal. Seems like a lifetime ago that Jen O'Neal opened this game with a 3-pointer. Goss in the middle of the floor, wide open 3-pointer, and Matthew Mitchell excoriating his player Bria Goss, the 5'10" senior out of Indianapolis. Shoot the ball, you're wide open.
The hesitation. And I'm going to tell you, there's no back off with Matthew Mitchell. He has been intense from start to finish, and it even started in the pregame warm-up. He's out on the court with his players, making sure that their mind is focused and they're working at the intensity that's game speed.
Graves, little stutter step. Good offensive rebound taken by Nard as she just shucks Jen O'Neal to the side and puts it up and in. Goss steps through the double team.
If you're playing to advance to the SEC championship, you've got to toughen up, blow up if you want to advance.
And Tennessee's press was so good yesterday against Georgia, but since they haven't been able to score, they can't get into their press. And so not an attractive start so far for either Kentucky and Tennessee, but it'll heat up here in Little Rock. The floor, and Kentucky has turned it over their last 4 possessions. Let's go quickly back over to the sideline.
Matthew Mitchell is also looking at Bria Goss and calling her out. He just told her, if you are open for a 3, we need you to take that shot every time. You have got to believe in yourself.
Wow, he is continually instilling confidence in his players. I mean, Goss is a guard that normally drives, but he needs her to score the basketball.
Mia Moore on, number 1 for Tennessee. Played very effectively, 14 points in limited minutes in the blowout yesterday against Georgia. It's a good way to get your feet wet in the tournament. And knocking it down from the outside, Jordan Reynolds scores once again.
Jordan Reynolds loves the SEC tournament. She was big for Tennessee in the championship game in the last 4.5 minutes last year to help them pull off the championship win.
Reynolds, nobody coming to pick her up. Wild shot over the iron. And you see the difference. Tennessee scores. Then they can get into their pressure and force yet another turnover. That's turnover number 8 for Kentucky.
You're right. Jordan Reynolds, if Jen O'Neal gives her that step right now, she had already hit one previously. She's proven you've got to come out and guard her.
So after trailing 5-0, it's Tennessee that now leads it by 2, 9-7. That ball put up and in by Elisa Rice, 6'3" freshman out of Ohio, just on the floor for Kentucky.
See, Bashard Gray's right now only a passer. When she had 20 points against South Carolina, when she got the ball at the top, she was in attack mode. She dared anybody to try to guard her.
Massengale trying to work one-on-one against O'Neal. Stymied there. Here comes Graves. Stopped, double-teamed, out to Reynolds. Three-pointer off the back of the iron. In traffic, Bria Goss knocked to the floor, and it's going to be a foul against Tennessee. Third team foul against Tennessee. Only 2 team fouls against Kentucky. That foul was on Jamie Nard. Alexa Middleton will be in at the next dead ball for Tennessee, and also coming back out will be Lene Harper, again playing with that very sore right knee.
Tennessee in this zone trying to stop the penetration of the guards for Kentucky.
Shot clock at 4, and another turnover. Wow. We have not seen this from Kentucky. 9 turnovers now in the first half. The regular season title of the American Athletic Conference is on the line. On Sunday at 3 on ESPNU, Tulsa takes on number 22 SMU. Both teams are tied at 14-3, so a lot on the line. And the winner will be the number 1 seed for the American Championship next week. Tulsa versus number 22 SMU Sunday at 3 Eastern. Burdick wide open, good ball movement, and buries a 16-footer. Tennessee back on top, 11-9. And you score, you get into your full court pressure. Wow, these turnovers are just absolutely killing Kentucky. I'll give you the total in just a moment. That's turnover number 10 for Kentucky. And we've played 11 minutes and 8 seconds.
Jordan Reynolds handled this trap much better than turning it over. She finds Sierra Burdick at the top, at the free throw line area, and that's a good shot for number 11.
Sometimes fatigue exhibits itself in many ways. Oftentimes it's mental. These are very uncharacteristic mistakes. I mean, this is a quality. There was some contact along the sideline. There's another turnover. I thought that was a bad call, mind you. I thought that was a foul along the sideline against Tennessee. But it'll go down officially as a turnover. I mean, this is very uncharacteristic for Kentucky.
Well, it's just been very difficult for Kentucky to get into a flow, especially after Tennessee has been able to score and get their press set.
8 turnovers in the last 5 minutes. Kentucky averages 16 turnovers per game. They already have 11.
Well, usually they're the team that's forcing their opponents to turn the ball over.
Both teams with 3 team fouls. So that's not an issue so far. And Burdick will inbound. 8:37 remaining in the opening half.
Tennessee's going with 4 guards and Sierra Burdick to try to get some offense.
Burdick working one-on-one against Bishop, backing down, falling away, and she's made 2 in a row. Spacing the floor and going to work. These 2 teams played for the title last year. It was Tennessee edging out the last-second victory, 71-70. Harper three-pointer and rattles that down and answers. So showing no ill effects of that right knee injury.
Well, Harper was really ineffective against Georgia. Or, I'm sorry, against Vanderbilt. Or was it Georgia? I've played so many games against Georgia.
It's been a great week, but it's been a busy week.
Oh, my gosh. But Matthew Mitchell was all over, did not like her energy.
Boy, Sierra Burdick continues to make big plays. The senior leader on Tennessee. Dribbling into the trap. And it'll be Tennessee's basketball when we come back. So Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Kentucky, and Texas A&M on down to complete the list. And there have been lots of Tennessee fans. Do they love their Lady Vols? Our hotel lobby has been a sea of orange since we got here. We got here on Wednesday and heard that a lot of the, or Tuesday I should say, and heard that a lot of the Tennessee fans had been here on Monday. They beat the snowstorm.
They did the weather, checked the weather, and so they got ahead of it.
Shot clock at 5. O'Neal's got to go outside to Harper. Dribble drive, pull up jumper is there.
Tennessee is staying with the 4-guard lineup. Sierra Burdick is the only true post to match the small ball that Kentucky is playing with, because Delia Sidney is the only post player for Kentucky on the floor.
Tennessee started a very, very poor 1 for 10 there. 5 of 8 since, and score the basketball, you get into your press, and then turn over Kentucky.
Well, Bashard Graves is going to the scores table. You know, we called for the ball to go inside, felt like Tennessee needed to go to it, but when it did, she was passing out. She's got to be aggressive and get shot attempts.
Well, both of these coaches got to be looking up at the scoreboard and going, wait a minute, have we really played this many minutes? Jen O'Neal knocking down the 17-footer, puts Kentucky back on top, but the score is only 16-15 with 6:20 remaining. Burdick can make a 3. Pretty conservative with her shot selection, but she makes the ones that she feels comfortable with, and right on cue. Sierra Burdick, when she gets her feet underneath her, she knocks down the 3.
Well, she's shooting over 40% from the three-point line in the last 3 games, and she's done a terrific job with her shot selection this year.
Burdick now has 7. Harper looking to answer to the floor there, and Burdick takes the rebound. Tennessee's got numbers if they push it. Middleton, 3-pointer on the way, not there. Needs a bounce, no. Burdick with the offensive rebound, carves out some space.
Kara Capuano came over and slid me a note, said Matthew Mitchell is pleading with his team, his guards especially, to attack the middle offensively.
A switch on the high ball screen. Epps is picked up by Burdick. O'Neal again. That's going to be well off the mark. Just catches a piece of the iron. And Jordan Reynolds quickly into the front court to Carter. Both teams start to settle in a little bit offensively. O'Neal made the shot the trip before, and now it's 20-16 Tennessee. But the key has been Burdick. Shot clock at 9. Good hands by Goss up at the top of the defense. Pulled up by Massengale, and that ball deflected out of bounds. It'll be Kentucky's ball.
Sierra Burdick is doing all that she can as a senior, and she recognized she had time, she had space at the top, and knocked down the 3. See the 3, be the 3, and then get on the glass, number 11, go to work.
Burdick was called for her first personal foul, contesting for that offensive rebound. Still team fouls. Tennessee with 5, Kentucky with 3. Michaela Epps with her first basket, and we played 15 and a half minutes.
I'm telling you, number 25, don't let her get hot. Ask Mississippi State, she can take over a ball game.
What a performance in the second half last night. And truth be known, if you weren't with us on the ESPN SEC network, Mississippi State was leading by 15. Michaela Epps was in serious distress, limping all over the court, and I actually said, she might do further damage, you got to take her out. She ended up scoring 31 points and being the hero of the game. Held ball situation on the play. Matthew Mitchell of Kentucky wanted a traveling violation, and the alternating possession arrow. It'll be Tennessee's ball.
Look, when the ball handler is dribbling, it's supposed to be one touch, hot stove, and then off. Jen O'Neal was able to continually touch and retouch Sierra Burdick. I don't understand why that was not called a foul.
It has been automatic all season long, maybe because Burdick was backing down and they were giving O'Neal very much on the short side of that mismatch, a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Trouble getting it in. And ball deflected away, and here comes Harper. Can she track it down on that sore knee? She does. Splits the defenders, throws that up, trying to draw contact. Missed on the putback that time by Alexis Jennings. Opportunity there, more at the other end, and that's going to be a blocking foul called on Epps. Was she in the restricted area? We'll find out when we come back.
That's going to be an automatic block.
And she's got to sit for the rest of the opening half. 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. And Sierra Burdick, one of her first miscues so far on the evening, could not get the ball in bounds on time. Turnovers the story, particularly for Kentucky, but also for Tennessee in this basketball game. Kentucky with 11 turnovers, Tennessee now with 7.
now, Lene Harper needs to step up her offensive game with Michaela Epps on the bench. She can do so going off the bounce and also offensive rebounding.
Shot clock already at 7. This zone is good. O'Neal having to go almost one-on-one and right in the face of one of the league's best defenders, Andrea Carter. Big basket for number 0 in blue, Jen O'Neal.
I think she's at her best when she gets in rhythm, a few dribbles, crossover, back, and then pull up for a jumper.
You can tell when she's searching out some shooting rhythm. A foul inside. O'Neal caught up on Burdick.
You watch O'Neal going against Andrea Carter. The crossover right back into her left hand, then right into the shooter's pocket, and knocks it down.
O'Neal now with 7. We're tied at 20. 3:09 remaining.
Tennessee needs Ariel Massengale to get involved offensively. She's got to hit some shots.
Carter looking at a three-pointer, and that not defended well enough. And somebody else finally chipping in after it was all Reynolds and Burdick with 17 out of Tennessee's 23 points. Split of the double team, and a timeout is called by Matthew Mitchell. Penciled in on bracketology for 8 teams advancing into the NCAA tournament, whereas the SEC is slotted for 7.
Tennessee is swarming the basketball whenever it goes down low.
Bishop trying to find some room, but couldn't quite catch up with that, and right into the bottom of the board. Inside of 2.5 minutes remaining after the 3 by Carter. That's the advantage for Tennessee. Flare for Massengale. A couple of dribbles left. Pull up 17-footer. No. Bashar Graves with a tip out. And it'll be another possession for Tennessee.
I like the call for a play to Ariel Massengale just to get her looking at the rim.
And Nia Moore along the sideline. And how important for her. Not really a big part of the rotation while Isabel Harrison was in the lineup. And with the injury, her profile has really got to step up. She played well yesterday against Georgia.
She's getting back to how she started the season when Isabel Harrison was out.
Another crossover and pull-up jump shot. That just rims in and out by O'Neal. 25-20 is the advantage for Massengale. Outside to Burdick. Sets her feet. Three-pointer again. Matthew Mitchell just used a timeout when his team was in the 4 regional sites. Greensboro, Albany, Oklahoma City, Spokane. And the potential 1-2 seeds. And look at this one. Look at that one. UConn and Tennessee possibly in the same regional. Notre Dame, Baylor, Maryland, Louisville, South Carolina, Florida State.
If that were held true to form, that would mean that Connecticut would be the number one seed, and Tennessee would have to be the number 4, number 2 seed. And there's no way. Now, I understand he is making justifications because of geographical matters, but I don't think that a team should be really, I don't know what the nice TV term used.
Say what's on your mind, Carolyn.
Well, you're just getting, I don't even know how to, messed over.
Well, I think the debate is clearly open when you look at Tennessee's resume. I think it's clearly because of the injury to Isabel Harrison. And that's a legitimate factor that they were moved off the 1 line down to the 2. And Maryland moved up along with Notre Dame and, of course, UConn.
Well, until you saw the production of the Lady Vols without her, they have shown they can continue to score. They just do it in different ways. They've got players like Andrea Carter, Ariel Massengale, Sierra Burdick.
And Harper answering at the other end. Much needed basket. Shot clock is off as time continues to run. And, of course, South Carolina clearly in that mix as well for one of the number 1 seeds. They won their semifinal easily about an hour ago, although it didn't start that way over LSU. They won by 20. Pull-up jump shot by Reynolds. That comes up well short. And desperation shot on the way and off the back of the iron. This game got off to a very, very slow start indeed. Kentucky got out to the 5-0 lead. Then finally, as you knew it.
It's a rebound and Michaela Epps.
Interesting criteria. Offensive rebounds usually do take a little extra effort. So it's Epps at the point. Yeah, Goss along the sideline. Gooden Rogers in there as well, number 5, along with Alexis Jennings, number 35. Outstanding post player. Wants it down in the low block, working against Graves. Turns. Left hand short off the front of the iron, and Graves immediately surrounded. And the alternating possession there, it'll be basketball Tennessee. And the Lady Vols fans back on their feet. They will stand until Tennessee scores a basket in the second half. And they were getting worn out in the first. It was almost 5 minutes before Tennessee cracked the book with a basket.
What I'm looking to see is how aggressive Bashar Graves will be in attacking the basket.
Burdick off the side of the iron, battling for her own rebound, grabs that, and a foul is called against Gooden Rogers. Michaela Epps, who had 31 points last night, took 21 shots in bringing Kentucky back from 15 down against Mississippi State. 2 personal fouls. That's a big factor starting the second half. And only 1 shot attempt. She did make it, and then right as she was sort of getting in the flow, picked up that second personal.
Well, as long as Michaela Epps can be on the court, no lead is comfortable because she can create scoring in so many different ways.
Good ball reversal. That ball comes up well short, and Epps takes the flat-footed rebound, immediately picked up by Reynolds. And not picked up at all. Epps goes coast to coast, challenged by Bashara Graves. Matthew Mitchell thought that his star point guard was fouled. None called. Reynolds pull-up jump shot. Should have used the backboard. Angle wasn't quite there. And here comes Harper.
I think it's going to be very important. Whoever gets that momentum offensively first, they could spell danger in this second half.
This is a rematch of last year's championship game. That was the 17th title won by Tennessee, the 36th year of this championship. Reynolds down inside and taking a tough fall. A traveling violation is called. Alexis Jennings goes to the floor last year. Michaela Epps and the Kentucky Wildcats went down to Tennessee 71-70 in this championship. Kentucky beat South Carolina in the semifinals. The Gamecocks into the finals of this tournament for the first time ever.
And really a great adjustment Don Staley made in that second half.
Burdick. Sierra Burdick continues to play big for Tennessee. No one has upped her statistical averages more in the absence of Isabel Harrison than has Burdick, and Bria Goss answers from the perimeter.
Well, Kara told us that she heard Matthew Mitchell begging Bria Goss to shoot the basketball and to shoot it with confidence. These guards get rolling. It can spell trouble for the Lady Vols.
Boy, Grace done a beautiful pass. I was just about to say good backdoor cut by Carter, but Bashar Grace spends an awful lot of time on the perimeter with the ball in her hands. Harper at the other end. Back and forth we go as the second half is underway. Inside to Graves, lays it up and in. Back-to-back paint points for Tennessee. Step back jumper not there by Gooden Rogers, and Sierra Burdick with a rebound.
Matthew Mitchell may have to take a timeout to stop the bleeding.
He will if this shot goes down. That off the back of the iron and tipped out by freshman Jamie Nard. Duck in for Graves. Boy, she's got it so deep that short-armed that. Goss splitting the defense. Knocked hard to the floor by Andrea Carter. And 2 hard-earned free throws.
Bashar Graves has really inserted herself offensively. She's attacking the glass there, but what has been most impressive is the passing from the post after the great cut by Andrea Carter, and then recognizing that it is Sierra Burdick that's open on the baseline who knocks down the shot.
Largest margin now that was 10 is 9 after Goss, an expert free throw shooter, goes to the line. Bria Goss, an 88%er. That is the first free throw attempt. Obviously, this will be the second for Kentucky so far on the evening. Second free throw rims out. Rebound taken by Tennessee, and some full court pressure applied, but no trouble at all with Jordan Reynolds moving it into the front court. Step back, an air ball that goes right to Nard.
Jordan Reynolds, she's a scoring point guard because she's looking for her shot first. Most of the time, you want your point guard to be 70-30. 70 everybody else in the shot clock, and then that 30% is your time.
Ball bouncing around off of Michaela Epps. Reynolds had it for a moment. It went to Harper, who laid it up and in. Harper now with 13.
A lot of dribbling by Jordan Reynolds.
Shot clock already at 12. Shot clock at 4. Burdick's going to have to step back, take a very difficult shot. Harper feeling a little bit offensively, trying to step inside, draw some contact, not there. Wild miss off the glass.
You look at the stat sheet for Kentucky, they only had 2 assists, but they've got guards who can create. No assists necessary.
Middleton able to keep the ball alive for Tennessee. Once again, getting very, very late in initiating their offense. Shot clock inside of 10. Well, that is a tough shot. I don't know about the shot selection, but Holly Warlick, the third-year head, 12 Kentucky 41-30. And thankfully for the fans, whether you're for Kentucky or for Tennessee, the offense is picked up, and it continues to be Sierra Burdick doing a little bit of everything for Tennessee as they extend to the 41-30 lead.
Look for Kentucky's guards to create, especially number 25, Michaela Epps.
And that ball's out of bounds, and we'll talk more about that when we return. Capuano said in her conversation with Matthew Mitchell, so many self-inflicted wounds with the pressure of that press. Again, a lot of careless turnovers and empty possessions for Kentucky. Tough for them to get back in the game. Goss immediately out of the timeout and right on cue, Carolyn.
A three-pointer after one pass from the underneath out of bounds. That's a defensive breakdown.
Goss now with 9. That ball is deflected. Goss after it, and here comes Harper running with Epps. Epps, oh, he had the ball fall out of her hands. Just doesn't have any lift on that leg. Bria Goss was down on the sideline, and one of the officials wanted to make sure that she was all right. The officials, Lisa Mattingly, Beverly Roberts, and Roy Gilbayan, calling the game today here in the second semifinal after South Carolina eventually dispatched LSU earlier today. Wow.
Goss disappeared under the table.
She didn't have those bright blue shoes. You wouldn't be able to find her. Luckily, she's all right. Good work by the official. Player safety is the first priority. 14:34 remaining. If you're just joining us, it was a very low-scoring affair. 6:31 remaining in the opening half. Kentucky led 16-15, but a 15-8 run by Tennessee gave them a 7-point lead going into the locker room. And now they have extended that, once it by as many as 11 points, and now with 14:25 left, it's 41-33. Tennessee at 26-4, Kentucky at 23-8. Step back by Middleton, not there. Goss and Kentucky want to look to run. Epps spot up, three-pointer on the way, not there. Battle for the offensive rebound. That should be off of Jamie Nard and out of bounds. Fresh clock for Kentucky.
Epps not able to be as productive tonight so far as she was last night. That shot last night was falling for her.
Tonight, Michaela Epps, Jennifer O'Neill, what they have done on the night as opposed to on the season. There's still a lot of time left to be played. Epps finding some space, carving, bump in the lane, and that foul is going to go against Kentucky, and that is on Sierra Burdick. She picks up the personal foul. That's her second. Remember, Michaela Epps came into the second half already with 2 personal fouls. Epps, good play by Carter. Jump switch on the little bit of a ball screen brush. And Andrea Carter picked the pocket of Michaela Epps.
She's a pretty good defensive player.
One of your favorites.
She is. She just anticipates so well. and getting her hand on the basketball without the foul. She's just got great anticipation skill.
Kentucky working hard to try to get it in. Just does beat the 5-second call. Epps in the lane. I'll tell you, Michaela Epps is a very strong athlete. She used that upper body to bump off the taller Burdick for the score. Graves turning, facing, finding Burdick. Sierra Burdick has been superb inside and out, knocking down shots and sharing the ball.
I love to see seniors step up to make big plays in crunch time. They know they don't want this SEC conference season to be over. They want to get all the way for a championship.
And Bria Goss doesn't want to go home either, in spite of the fact that she broke her left thumb and missed a handful of games. No tape on it now as she's recovered, but scores it with that now healthy left hand.
And Goss is a senior as well. She was one of the 4 seniors that went to the home of Matthew Mitchell to ask him to help them pull through and get this program to the level of respect it had been built on.
The seniors, including Jen O'Neill, as you mentioned, went to Coach Mitchell's house, and they wanted him to make them work harder. How often does that happen? All the way at the other end. That shot missed by Nard, but Bashara Graves, tough rebound down inside, just falls off the iron, but she will get to the free throw line to shoot a much-deserved pair.
As a coach, you love that. The second effort. Bashara Graves, tough, turning it up, because she was very passive in that first half. But in the second half, aggressive, and that's exactly what Holly Warlick is looking for.
That bright orange cash, she slipped on the campus in Knoxville back on the 25th of February. Knew that it was bothering her, but they had a game the next day in Georgia, so she goes away. The Lady Vols win that game. She comes back. She finally goes to the doctor, and it's determined by x-ray and other testing she's got a fractured bone in her wrist.
When we talk about the toughness of Michaela Epps, that's toughness by Coach Holly Warlick.
Boy, neither team shooting many free throws on the night. Tennessee now just 2 of 4. Here comes Epps. Looking for some early offense. Jalea Sidney right down the lane and blows the layup. Full speed ahead, but she stayed with it, got the offensive rebound, and Sierra Burdick just picked up her 3rd personal foul. That was a big exchange.
Well, and that was a retaliation foul, because first, Sierra Burdick thought that she was fouled right there, going after the basketball. And then when she comes back in to Alexis Jennings, Sierra Burdick gets called for the foul. That's costly, with that being 3.
I think that Burdick has an argument. You see that contact in the flow of the play. She might have been fouled, but you can't lose your composure like that. She's a senior for Tennessee. Isabel Harrison is injured. You want to get to the finals of this tournament. You want to be a #1 seed. You have got to compose yourself and put your hands in the pocket.
Look, note to self, you play until you hear a whistle. Alexis Jennings.
Goss off the back of the iron, goes and gets her own rebound. Oftentimes the shooter knows where the ball is coming off. The lead for Tennessee is half a dozen. Jennings spinning off the left hand, and Bashara Graves, after the rebound, is fouled by Jalea Sidney.
Well, this game is going to be decided by who wants it more. Both of these teams are going to work, going to battle to try to advance to that championship game.
Sidney just picked up her 3rd personal foul, and Burdick, as we thought, had the first possibility onto the sideline for Tennessee. Bashara Graves bringing the ball into the front court. And still on the dribble, looking for somewhere to go out to Massingale. Long 3-pointer is good. Give the assist to Bashara Graves. Answering at the other end, not there for Goss. Offensive foul called against Tennessee. Kentucky's basketball when we come back. Again, 3 games in 3 days on an injured left leg that will have plenty of time to recover between the end of the SEC tournament and the start of the NCAA tournament. Maybe a little bit too much to ask.
I don't think so. Listen, she has proven to me she's got a level of toughness that she's got another notch that she can go. And you can't count Kentucky out as long as Michaela Epps can be on the court.
Timed and Gooden off the back of the iron. Good offensive rebound down inside. Shot rejected, and then somehow Jen O'Neill found it among the trees and put it back up and in. Tennessee leads it by 7. O'Neill now with 9.
And right now, Sierra Burdick has 3 fouls. She's got to be on the bench.
On the held ball, possession arrow. The ball will stay with Tennessee. Yeah, Burdick, who was certainly leading the way early, middle, and often for Tennessee, having a superb game. Picked up her 3rd personal foul. A bit of frustration on her part. Burdick got to watch out from behind. Here comes Goss. She's got a trailer if she wants it. Pump fake shot rejected by Jordan Reynolds.
Bria Goss has a terrific steal from Bashard Graves, but then Jordan Reynolds runs it down, blocks the shot. Goss could have dropped that to Jen O'Neill.
Jen O'Neill was there on the trail. Remember that play. Steal here by Gooden Rogers, and bodies all over the floor. And on the alternating possession arrow, once again, Kentucky will have it.
Check out Sierra Burdick after that block. Yeah, she likes that. The serious stare down.
A little bit of a pose after that ball was swatted out of bounds. But at the end of it, Kentucky here with an opportunity. 10:51 remaining. Neither team particularly in foul trouble. Tennessee, the worst of it with 5 team fouls. Kentucky only 3. So a long, long way to go. Epps coming back to the ball, looking for some space, up off the window and in. Could that be the start of something special once again?
I'm telling you, you don't want to allow Michaela Epps to heat up. She gave 31 to Mississippi State last night.
Long three-pointer again. What do you think about that shot?
I like it for Ariel Massengale. She has got to get the confidence, because once she hits a few, she will be on fire.
Goss on the step back, not there, and inadvertently trips Reynolds to the floor, so that will be a personal foul. And the 4th team foul against Kentucky.
Kentucky has been terrific executing that underneath, out of bounds. Goss had hit a 3, and then the cutting of Michaela Epps for 2.
Lene Harper coming back on, who again struggled last night after injuring her right knee. And having a very solid first half. She's the best player on the floor for Kentucky in the first half. Full court pressure. Graves pretty good off the dribble. Not this time. That could have been a high bounce. The official waves it off.
Well, Bashard Graves, in addition to the post workouts that she does with Dean Lockwood, she does some guard workouts with assistant coach Jolette Law.
Nard out of the corner after the nice assist, that time from Jordan Reynolds. The lead back up to 8. The winner to play South Carolina. Tennessee has won this title 17 times. South Carolina into the finals for the first time. Missed by Harper, and here comes Reynolds again, and that's going to be a blocking foul called against O'Neill.
Jamie Nard is a freshman, but she is playing like she's got ice water in the veins, and she knocked it down. The senior Sierra Burdick, she's loving it.
Well, she's taken 4 years. She got all of it down. On the block shot, you step out and pose. On the three-pointer, you got the pirouette and the fingers in the air. And now she is back in the game. 9:36 remaining and playing with those 3 personal fouls. Holly Warlick may be going for the knockout blow here, leading 50-42.
That's good defense by Jen O'Neill.
Shot clock getting late. Here comes Burdick again. Boy, that was straight, but right off the back of the iron. Battle for it. Carter's got it. And a foul is going to be called against Kentucky. They'll call that one against Asia Bishop, number 50. And while they sort that one out, I want to remind you the regular season title of the American Athletic Conference is on the line on Sunday at 3 on ESPNU. Tulsa takes on number 22 SMU. Both teams tied for the top spot with a 14-3 record. So the winner will get the number 1 seed for the American Championship tournament next week in Hartford, Tulsa. Number 22 SMU Sunday at 3 Eastern with Carolyn Peck, a national championship head coach at Purdue and head coach at the University of Florida in the WNBA. Thanks for joining us for the second semifinal here in Little Rock, Arkansas. 36th SEC Women's College Basketball Tournament. Good backdoor cut. Nard hit the 3, and Sierra Burdick setting the table with another assist.
Court vision, senior leadership, and composure by Sierra Burdick.
Yeah, Matthew Mitchell needed a timeout, and it took. He has worked hard. There's no question about that. Carol, what have you got to add to that?
Well, the final thought in the huddle was they think they've got this game won. You just got to ball right here. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Lady Vols, they've got some confidence right now, but if you've seen the play of Kentucky, as long as you've got players like Jen O'Neal, Michaela Epps, they can get right back in this ball game. Jennifer
O'Neal out of Bronx, New York, the 5'6" senior going right into the trees and maybe drew the charge here. There's a turnover. Harper with it. That ball come off a little bit short-armed, and Sierra Burdick with a rebound and a foul in the backcourt, a frustration foul. Matthew Mitchell's got to be careful. O'Neal picked up the foul in the backcourt.
See, Kentucky's got guards who can create, and Jen O'Neal splits the defense and has that little teardrop runner, gets that to go.
That was a big exchange. O'Neal now with her 3rd personal foul will go to the sideline. But off the steal, Lene Harper again being encouraged by her head coach Matthew Mitchell. Be aggressive, go to the rim. You know, all of a sudden it could have been down to a 5-point lead with all kinds of time still remaining as Ariel Massengale knocks down the first free throw to earn the bonus.
Paul, remember last night, Jen O'Neal had to go to the bench with the 4 fouls. And who turned it up but Michaela Epps?
Well, there were so few options. Lene Harper was injured. Bria Goss was having a terrible game. And all of a sudden there was foul trouble at the other end. That ball rims in and out. Another big miss. This time by Jennings when Kentucky needs offense.
Now, see, those were the plays that were working for Kentucky last night.
Massengale trying to turn the corner. Nice pass to Burdick. Trying to give it back. It went off the hip of Michaela Epps. 8 seconds to shoot. We'll step aside. Sierra Burdick continues to lead the way for
Kentucky today. They call themselves the Stereophonic Storm of the Mid-South. I talked to the band director, Bryce Evans. He said he was asked Wednesday if it was possible, as Massengale tries to beat the shot clock there and cannot, if it was possible they could come out. He found out last night at 11:30 p.m. that they were going to need the support today of this special band, and he got about 25 band members together via Facebook and email so that Kentucky would have musical representation. Ole Miss filled in Thursday, Friday South Carolina, today a local high school band.
Still difficult for Kentucky to get on the board. And one more note, Little Rock Central High School is designated as a National Historical Site. It's located inside a national park because it was a major civil rights landmark from the days in 1957, and this marks the 50th anniversary of the march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. So significance there as well for Kentucky, and President Obama down in Selma to commemorate the 50th anniversary. 7:07 remaining, and Sierra Burdick to the free throw line. Been a struggle at times for both of these teams to score, as it was for South Carolina against LSU early. South Carolina trailed by as many as 11 and went on to close that game out. Don Staley with some very astute adjustments in the second half. Tina Roy,
Elena
Coates exactly had a big second half.
Well, what Don Staley did, instead of just trying to get the ball to the post player, stationary on the block, she brought the post player to the ball instead of delivering the ball to the post player. And it worked out very well in the second half. And Tina Roy, it wasn't just her three-point shooting, but the distributing of the basketball as well was very good in that second half.
O'Neal thought about it, slides along the baseline. Nice dish that time to Jennings. So still plenty of time remaining, but the lead for Tennessee continues at double figures at 10. Carter thought better of it, dribbles it back out. Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
And I think Holly Warwick's got to think that she needs Ariel Massengale back on the floor to take care of the basketball and to run things.
Shot clock at 3. Long three-pointer. Maybe a dagger for Jordan Reynolds. And the lead is the biggest of the evening at 13. And she has 13. Epps thought about it, drops off to Jennings once again, counts if it goes. The foul is going to be inside, probably on Carter of Tennessee. That'll be 2 free throws coming. A look back at about a 27-footer.
Jordan Reynolds recognizes the shot clock running down, but Paul, remember last year in the championship game against Kentucky, Jordan Reynolds in the last 4.5 minutes, 11 points to pull off the comeback and win the championship for the Lady Vols.
The Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship kicks off Wednesday on ESPNU. First round coverage from the Sprint Center in Kansas City at 7 and 9 Eastern on ESPNU. Got word Oklahoma over Kansas today, so that is going to be one of the very best postseason tournaments that you can possibly tune in on. So be sure and check your local listings as that tournament gets underway.
Look at the swarm of blue jerseys. When anybody shows any kind of hesitation dribbling the basketball, Kentucky's coming after it.
Good ball movement by Tennessee. Graves touched it in the low post, immediately doubled. Shot clock at 7. Graves sets her feet. That won't be close. And the team rebound over the end line. And Kentucky will have it. Kentucky starting to run out of time. 5:39 remaining. They trail by 11. Third game in as many days.
But you've got Michaela Epps and Jen O'Neal, Bria Goss, who can knock down the three-point shot.
They need a little spark here. They need a three-point play. Jennings misses that off the iron, battles for her own rebound. Graves has got it. Kentucky has missed at least 3 makeable shots here down the stretch. Step backer that time for Jordan Reynolds. Harper kicks to the corner, finds O'Neal.
Kentucky's got guards who can create.
Goss frees herself right down the lane into the rim. Excellent one-on-one basketball. Matthew Mitchell wanted an and one on that particular play. Not a very friendly stare at one of the officials. Graves has the ball deflected away from behind, but easy play to call that shot. Foul is going to be called on Alexis Jennings.
Well, with Matthew Mitchell having 4 guards and a post player who's a threat from the perimeter, he has opened up the floor. So when you've got guards who can create, it allows those penetrating opportunities to happen.
And Ariel Massengale is back on, replacing Reynolds. And Goss going to the sideline along with Alexis Jennings for Kentucky. Tennessee has never lost to Kentucky on a neutral floor, never in the SEC tournament. And Graves buries the free throw. Good free throw shooter at over 84%.
Well, Tennessee is the best free throw shooting team in the SEC, shooting over 75%. And there's only 3 teams in the SEC that shoot over 70%.
And chasing down a record, second best free throw shooting team in school history as we speak, with some games to be played. Just a couple of tenths off the record of 75.9 set back in 2012 and 13. Tennessee fans don't like the call, as Michaela Epps was able to slide through the defense. Holly Warlick doesn't like it either, but Epps will go to the free throw line.
Well, Carter's, that's her 4th foul, and that is, she's the best defender on this Lady Vol basketball team.
And she's going to be out. Alexa Middleton at the scorer's table will be in for Carter, and she is right now. 4:32 remaining, still a 10-point lead for Tennessee. They led it at the half, 31-24. And quickly extended the lead to double figures as the second half was underway.
And Kentucky is going to bring the full court pressure and try to run and jump.
Burdick, nice little drop pass inside to Nard. The little flip to Bashara Graves. No foul called, an opportunity for Kentucky. Harper wanted to spin, goes the other way, not there. That was a difficult chance, but boy, Kentucky has had all kinds of opportunities to cut into this lead over the last 4 minutes.
They have not been able to convert on the forced turnovers.
Good play by Epps, and here yet another opportunity. Epps running with Rice, misses that off the side of the iron. Offensive rebound taken by O'Neal. In among the trees, knocked to the floor, and that time Jalea Sidney staying with it on the 3rd try for the putback. Kentucky won't go away.
Not at all. But Tennessee doesn't need to hurry. The clock is their friend.
Sierra Burdick down inside for the layup. And Kentucky's over the limit, so Tennessee can attack and get to the free throw line. Burdick now with 20. O'Neal looking for Jalea Sidney, and the foul is called. That's going to be a charging foul called against Jen O'Neal. We'll step aside and be back with a final 2:58. Does Kentucky have one more push?
And it goes through the bottom of the net.
Coaches are rarely speechless, but there are moments. Rice back to the sideline, and now Kentucky going with a small lineup and a little bit of bookkeeping. There was no foul called on Jen O'Neal, but she was called for a charge, but the ball was ruled out of bounds before the foul was committed. Tennessee. Mia Moore might be a target. She's only shot 4 free throws all season long in the SEC. She's on the floor now, guarded by Harper. But it will be 2 free throws as Tennessee is in the double bonus. Little whip pass there, and off the turnover, Goss after it. Middleton throws it on the floor, and it comes right to Nia Moore. Good play by Middleton, falling out of bounds and saving it onto the floor.
Look, that's playing until you hear a whistle. No whistle, you keep going. Go after the basketball.
Harper turning inside, up over the top, not there. Ball is tipped. Gooden Rogers goes inside, and they'll go to the free throw line. Last possession once again. A lot of luck here for Tennessee.
You're talking about when the ball bounces your way, it goes through the hands of Alexa Middleton, and as she saves it in bounds right into the hands of Nia Moore, who is able to finish.
Free throw off the front of the iron, adding to Kentucky's problems. The American Athletic Conference title is on the line on Sunday at 3 right here on ESPNU. Tulsa and number 22 SMU, both teams at 14-3. The winner will take the number 1 seed. The tournament is in Hartford starting next week. Tulsa versus number 22 SMU, Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPNU.
Now, Paul, regardless of a team like Maryland as a number 1 seed, if Florida State were to knock off Notre Dame in the ACC tournament, would they have that option? I mean, anything can happen. You can control your own destiny.
Boy, a wild pass here on the inbounds play from Tennessee. Holly Warlick with a wry smile. But there's still a lot of time left here. Epps around the screen, pull up jumper, 18-footer straight away over Bashara Graves.
I'm telling you, number 25 on the court. Don't fold your tent, don't hang your head, because you have a chance for a comeback.
Good decision by Bashara Graves to pull that ball back out and run some clock. Carter, three-pointer on the way, no, long rebound, and it goes out of bounds. And it's ruled that it's off of Kentucky. Big mistake there by Bria Goss. You got to go grab that rebound. Looked like she had a good chance at it. Take another look.
Well, Jordan Reynolds stayed after it.
Oh, good play by Jordan Reynolds. Yeah, did not see that off the leg of Bria Goss. And Lene Harper at the other end. It lays it off the iron. O'Neal comes to take the rebound. Got to go quick. 1:35 remaining. Epps around the screen. Change of pace. Good play by Bashara Graves. No foul is called. Burdick is knocked to the floor. And now finally the foul, and Ariel Massengale will go to the line.
Well, Epps, that's good defense by Bashara Graves to get the stop, because she knows Michaela Epps can take over a basketball game. You've got to stop her from getting opportunities to the basket.
What a good job by Graves at 6'2", moving her feet to stay right in front of Michaela Epps. 1:24 left, and a couple of free throws here could extend it back to a 10-point advantage.
Ariel Massengale, 1,000 points and 500 assists. She's only the third Lady Vol point guard to reach those numbers. Impressive career in the orange and white.
And some more basketball still to play in her final season tomorrow against South Carolina.
And before she was even a freshman, Pat Summitt anointed her the starting point guard of the Lady Vols.
Epps down the lane, and the long rebound comes out to Reynolds. Kentucky looks like they're trying to foul, but Reynolds just too quick with the ball. Wild play at the end, and Burdick runs through Bria Goss to pick up the offensive foul. No reason for Tennessee to go that quick here, even in the open floor. Time and score. The clock is your friend. Just bring the ball back out and work clock. Force Kentucky to foul you. Go to the free throw line.
You're exactly right. The clock, time and score. Because you give Kentucky extra possessions, they can take advantage of that.
Well, Kentucky doesn't have the luxury. They got to go quick. You got to get a shot up. Here comes Goss stepping inside for the basket. Now you have to foul right away. Foul immediately. You can't wait to see and foul who you want. A valuable seconds going off the clock here. 6 seconds lost as Kentucky was trying to scramble. Burdick was there. I know she's a very good free throw shooter, but when you're in this sort of situation, you just got to foul whoever has the basketball.
Yeah, you can't wait. I think sometimes, especially in the women's game, with having a 10-second backcourt, you may hope that a player or team would just hold the basketball, waiting for you to come to them and run time off. You get the 10-second, but you don't have that much time anymore.
Tennessee's been in the double bonus for quite some time. Andrea Carter, a 68%er so far on the year. So headed towards a rematch between Tennessee and South Carolina. The first time they played, it was in Columbia, and the Gamecocks beat the Lady Vols 71-66. For another missed layup. I know a lot of these have been challenged, particularly inside by Bashara Graves, but Kentucky has had lots of opportunities. Championship game coming up tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Carolyn and I will be here once again, and immediately the foul applied. 37.1 seconds remaining.
And Carter just gets nailed by Kyvan Gooden-Rogers running into that screen.
And whoever was guarding Kyvan Gooden-Rogers owes an apology to Andrea Carter for not letting her know that screen was there.
You're absolutely right. You need to have a conversation about that when you break down film tomorrow. Tina
Roy, one of the second half stars for Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks. They're going to play Tennessee tomorrow. This now just a matter of time. A valiant effort by Kentucky after they won that emotional double overtime game against Mississippi State. They lost 3 in a row, and that probably cost them any chance at a top 4 seed. So they dropped to number 6. So they had to play on day 2 in the quarterfinals, and then again today. Mentioned that South Carolina beat Tennessee back on February 23rd. Bashara Graves finished with 20 points. She's going to have to be big tomorrow and very efficient against that deep, very talented front line like Elisa Welsh. And of course inside, even Ibiam, among so many others. Elena Coates was, how good was Elena Coates in the second half today as Sierra Burdick goes to the sideline. She had a phenomenal basketball game after both she and all of her Tennessee teammates really struggled in the first half. Burdick finishing with 20 points and 11 rebounds.
I think we're in for a treat tomorrow. You talked about the play of Bashara Graves. Kyvan Gooden-Rogers hits the 3 there, but Elisa Welch, she had 14 rebounds and 19 points in that first meeting.
Tiffany Mitchell, who was hampered by foul trouble today, the 2-time SEC Player of the Year, a very, very quiet semifinal in the win earlier today. And a foul in the backcourt. This just a matter of time. 4.8 seconds remaining. Tennessee will get their 27th win against just 4 losses on the season. Kentucky will finish at 23-9. Now Kentucky, a very good RPI, very good strength of schedule, currently ranked number 12. Are they definitely going to host in the first and second round?
I think so. Yes, I think they're pretty secure in their host situation. You know, you're losing to a team like Tennessee, who are co-SEC champions of the regular season. It's not a bad loss at all.
Nia Moore has played very well. Again, 14 points yesterday in the blowout win over Georgia, but I thought it really helped her get her legs underneath her, not a lot of pressure. Played very well and contributed mightily in the first half to get Tennessee out to the 7-point lead. And time will expire. The final score, Tennessee wins it 75-64.